Welcome in the second part of research methodology. Today the topic is about how to prepare and deliver a presentation. The same topic is divided in the two phases. The first phase will mainly focus about how to prepare a PowerPoint, while the second one is about how to deliver a presentation. So, how to deliver a presentation? This is the outline of the today topic. So we will mainly talk about presentation, rules of presentation, what are the Aristotle 5 point, how the outline of the presentation should like, what are the things which you need to keep in mind, or what are the things which you need to target in terms of the listener, and so on. But before going in a very much detail, I would like to explain the 7 C's of communication, which play a very basic role not only in the presentation but as well as in the writing skills as well. So the 7 C's of communication, maybe some of you already heard about that. The first one is about clear, the second one is correct, the third one is complete, the fourth one is concise, the 5 concrete, 6 coherent, while 1 is courteous. So in short, to explain those 7 in a single line, that means that your message should contain all those 7 points if you want an effective and successful communication. So now the question is how we can ensure that our communication, or how we can evaluate or effective scale that they are at the level or not. If you get a proper response, the response should be in the negative way, the response should be in a positive way. So this is the evaluation of your communication. But coming towards the very first one, so your message should be very clear from your communication. So the message which you send to the receiver, it should be very clear. So you need to assume all the things that you want to say, but in a very short way. So for example, if we send an email or a letter to someone, so the email should not contain too many messages, so it should be very clear in terms of the reader. The second one is about the correct. So when you say so many things in a very short letter or in a very short form, or like if you just mention things too fast, if you use some type of a jargon terminology, which are like some type of a keywords which is not understandable according to the listener or according to the reader, then your communication is not too much effective. So whatever you use, it should be correct, it should be understandable according to the person. The third one is about complete. Okay, a complete message which you need to send to the reader, that need to, like for example, if you send him a complete message, so when you get back the response, or if he take action, that means that your message, your information was complete. Okay, so you need to imagine the reader level. Okay, and you also need to understand that what is his communication level, what is his communication skills, what is his intention. Okay, the next point is about concise. Okay, so what is basically concise means, people more often than not tend to write 4 sentences in a place where they could have finished the message in 2 sentences. This wastes the time of the sender and also the receiver as well, and in turn limits their productivity too. Furthermore, you also need to try not to add filters such as I mean, I sort of, for instance, basically, etc., etc. So these are such type of a terminology which take away the correctness, the accuracy, and the points which you need to emphasize away from your message. So you need to be very much kind of focused that what you want to say. Okay, the next point is about complete. Sorry, we already mentioned complete and concise, so now we are coming towards concrete. So what is basically meaning of concrete? uh, Concreteness is basically a quality which need to come to the like especially during marketing or advertising campaign, they need to be more details, like in the capture to attention the audience but not to bore them. Okay, and something like its example is do come to us on your next holiday. Do come to us on your next holiday. So Mr. X said to Mr. Y in his best resort. Okay, so like if you just imagine some of the like best example when you buy something from like such type of a shops in Peshawar or in all over Pakistan, where they are a well-known chain, so they usually say we will wait for your next visit. Okay, and then the next one we have the coherent. Coherent means that your message needs to have a logical flow. All the sentences in your message, in your report, should be connected to the previous one. So you need to make a building, you don't need to imagine the whole thing without any foundation. So without coherence, he will easily, like, if there is no coherence in your message, then he will easily lose the whole track of what you have conveyed. Okay, and the very last one is about courteous. So being courteous is a kind of a profound important in a corporate setting. Individual who are sit together, who are not necessarily friend, so therefore they need to maintain a healthy working relationship. Being courteous is a kind of a necessary to work in the bureaucracy, in the individual, in the advertising, in the marketing field. So hidden insult and aggressive tone, such as which could cause problem. So it also reduce the kind of a productivity as well. So these are the 7 C's of communication. I hope. The next one is, now we are coming to the presentation. So presentation is basically a talk or a document, for example a conference paper where you just need to present your idea, or you just want to show them, to explain to the audience, to the expert of the people, that what type of idea you have. So presentation in a very short terms, a message through which you can get your desired result. Okay, so the very first rule is, which we call the golden rule as well. So what do you think what it would be? Okay, so like deliver a presentation in a conference room where your presence is not mandatory. So if your presence does not matter, you may make a phone call, send your slides via email, etc. But if your presence is mandatory, then what you should need to do. Okay, so your presentation should be at the level where you can deliver your message in a very short term. Keep in mind, if you are in a conference, first of all you need to understand the place where you are going to present. If it's a classroom, of course each and everyone will be almost at the same understanding level. Okay, but if you are in some type of a public seminar where there is a people from all age, so you cannot use all the terms, all the terminology, and the language you need to also select, so which is more friendly, which is more understandable to the people. Okay, so if again you need to present, okay, so we just mentioned that if we have some of the kind of a like a free choice, if we don't need to be there, but if you need to be there, then remember, the first of all, avoid complicated presentation. Okay, if you brought so many things together, if you confuse the people, what will happen? That will create a mass. People will actually get bored and you will not be able to deliver your idea. Okay, so the same thing usually happens in most of the academic or the scientific seminar, that they are basically talking about the idea which only they knows, or maybe one or two people knows about that. So that means that there will be a lot of a kind of a confusion place between the sender and between the receiver. As a good presenter, first of all you actually need to create the imaginary field where each and everyone can fit, and you can also deliver your message properly. So what will happen if you will like become boring? So then it will actually distract your attention and you will not be able to listen to anyone. And also there is a huge chance that you will miss so many important points as well. The same thing usually happen inside the class as well, because the teacher is just going in a monotonous way, and he did not care usually about the student because he need to complete his course, but the student have like kind of a different attitude or like something to follow there. The second point if is a very simple rule. So like if you want to present any like result, so if there is no gain and you cannot get a feedback, so then you also need to like get to know that your effective scale, that your presentation is not effective. The second is you need to start from the very basic, from like very presentation. Okay, you also need to keep in mind what is the place, what is the conference about, is it a product launch, is it a report status, is it a thesis defense. So you like keep in mind that you forever you actually need to keep in mind the place, okay, where you are going to present. Okay, and then I would suggest that go with the very basic foundations, and then uh, in my eye I like like my imagination, the best presenter will be who can get the attention and also select a topic which can attract more people and people can take more interest there. So you are there from the beginning to the end. Why are you there? Okay, so the question is you also need to there to keep the people attention from like very start. So how you can keep their attention is not very easy actually. So you need to create expectation like in the start to gain their attention as well. If your desire like you basically disregard the care about the audience, you they will like dismiss, means here that they will not regret, but they will their attention will be lost. So if you lose their attention, that means that you lose the people. Rule number 2, ask yourself who is your listener, audience are. What are their expectations? Why should they care? Okay. So if it's a product launch, if you are not a perfect presenter for the company, may you lost a job. Okay. So what are their expectations? Of course, they want to get to know more about the product, they want to know more about the feature. So if you cannot explain in the language which they understand, so that will not they like very simple word, that will not attract the people. Rule number 3, avoid openings which make your listening bores. Okay, so like something, no need to repeat the same story to the same audience again and again, and you also not need to explain the irrelevant like story history or something. So keep in mind, keep yourself joke apart from the same presentation, because you are there on a very serious stage. So as I mentioned in like rule number 1, that focus on your audience, what type of audience is there. So usually the most of the student during their presentation, they use some type of a animation or color or design. Keep in mind, this is very much boring, and this also distract people attention as well, and also take a lot of time. Okay, so whenever you want to start, I would suggest first of all come up basically what is the problem, what is your proposed solution, and what type of methodology you implement there, and then what you conclude. So like in a 4 step, you just explain the whole idea. So remember, at the end, always summarize at the end. Okay, do not put a new material in the summary. So like the same material in the summary that should lead, coming from the abstract, coming from the introduction, coming from the methodology, and then you should just present it in the summary. And the summary, that means that your whole presentation should be channelized. It should lie in a one unidirection. So that doesn't mean that if your whole each and everything is different, so then your summary should not be different. Also, I would suggest that also give your contact details as well. If anyone is more interested, then they can you know can contact you and can get to know at the end of a topic. And then like the more if you read about what you are doing, you will get actually more idea. So one of the professor, he usually mentioned that the more you learn, the less knowledge you have. Okay, and then if you are working for a company, so maybe you will be able to sell the same product. If you are a professor, if you are a emerging researcher, So then you can also, if you give the kind of a contact details, so then maybe they contact you for the future collaborations as well. So again, choose your topic wisely. uh, if you did not follow these 4 to 5 basic rule, and some of them we will talk about in the second lecture as well, so then you will usually come up with something that the receiver will not understand properly. You will be confused by yourself, and you will also confuse others as well. Thank you for your time. If you have any question, you can ask through email as well, and also you can ask in the comment section as well.